Good morning and a pleasant welcome to Lntv News Live. This is a 30-minute presentation of major news about Liberia and other parts of our world. It's Thursday, the 18th day of February 2021. My name is Zokoe Beslekonen, anchoring this edition of the program Lntv News Live. In our headlines, government refused claims that constructing the Invincible Park opposite the fish market in Sinka will cause the women prayer group in the area to vacate. Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala describes community engagement as the best tool to combat disease outbreaks. President George Weah urges Ivorian refugees to live in accordance with the laws of Liberia. And as well in Africa, United Nations mission in South Sudan condemns armed attack on polio workers in that country. Those are the headlines. Let's bring you our first story. The Liberian government has refuted claims that construction of the Invincible Park will cause the women prayer group in the area to vacate the premises. According to a release, the park will have a separate center for the conduct of the group's prayers as pronounced by President George Weah during the park's groundbreaking. The release quotes President Weah as describing work being done by the women as patriotic, emphasizing that it requires the construction of a separate prayer center for their safety and in appreciation of their hard work. The Liberian leader said the decision to construct the Invincible Park was reached through the guidance of the Liberia Civil Aviation Authority (LCAA) after the park had satisfied all safety guidelines set up by the authority. President Weah clarified that the park, when completed in 4-month period, will be reasonably distanced from the runway as mandated by the LCAA. The park will host 3 football pitches, 2 basketball courts, tennis and volleyball courts, among others. President George Weah is urging Ivorian refugees in Liberia to live within the confines of the law. President Weah wants the refugees to remain law-abiding at all times in their quest to obtain legal documents for local integration. The Liberian leader said it would signal a bad show of friendship if the refugees violate the laws of Liberia. President Weah was speaking Wednesday when he dedicated 93 housing units for Ivorian refugees in Nimba County. Meanwhile, President Weah said he will work with members of the legislature on the request of the refugees for a waiver of documents to gain legal status. President Weah said the request needs critical scrutiny and legislative guidance. At the same time, the Liberian leader has dedicated a newly constructed rubber plant in Saclepier, Nimba County. Speaking when he cut the ribbon of the facility, President Weah reiterated his commitment to ensure Liberians remain major actors in the economy.
My fellow citizens, Liberia will no longer be spectator in their own economy. I said it and I meant it. Today, you can see that Honorable Conway is leading what I said. I'm pushing my minister and the legislature to make sure that what I stated, that is opening. We review the document. After we cancel the document, we review the document. This document passed through the rectifier, and this bill was signed for him to be legitimized because he's a Liberian own bread. I want to thank you for encouraging everyone in this sector. We just spoke the other day at the agricultural program that Liberians will come forward. If you cannot protect your own economy, other people will do it for you. It's a good thing to compete. Whether your state is low or is high, competition is good. When your state is low and you run competition, it can be high.
As the news of the outbreak of Ebola in neighboring Guinea spreads, Liberia is said to be leaving no stone unturned to ensure that all necessary mechanisms are put in place to prevent any outbreak in the country. Addressing the Ministry of Information regular press briefing Wednesday, Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Jala said health authorities are on the alert for any news of the virus.
We have vaccines that will be coming into the country. Currently, we had to select, because Liberia has a very youthful population, we had to decide who are our target population for the vaccine. It's not completed, but so far we have people, healthcare workers, which will be bringing it to the healthcare workers and discussing it. All the healthcare workers, people that are 60 and older, people that have comorbidities like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other lung problems and other illnesses. And the last group of people will be people who are constantly in contact with others. For example, your police, your soldiers, and then people, international people that are residing here, UN and other people. We have also the typhoid vaccine. I know everybody knows about typhoid because it's something that catch everyone all the time. So we are going to be vaccinating 0 to 15 years old for the typhoid fever. That vaccine will start sometime in March. All those who fit the criteria will be giving them the vaccine. Another vaccine that will also be on the board is the novel polio vaccine. That vaccine will start sometime in this month and will be vaccinating 0 to 5 years old.
Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Korji has announced plans to ensure the new resurgence of Ebola is contained. Speaking at the end of the Monrovia Day celebration, Mayor Korji said a skeleton meeting will be set up to spearhead surveillance in the city.
We are the direct respondent to our people. So we pray that we do not have such an experience again. But before then, those measures need to be put into place to ensure that, yes, indeed, when it comes, we can be able to engage it, we can be able to confront it, and save and preserve the life of our people. So right after the Monrovia Day, we're going to start having a regular conversation. We're not going to wait for it. Like you said, we dissolve the tax hold of the corona, but basically we're going to pull a skeleton team of the city together. So they begin now to start looking to the community, be on the on the watch, because we don't want somebody sneaking into the community and we do not know. And Ebola is deadly. So that skeleton team, as I move from here, by Friday, the skeleton team will be announced, and then we are now going to call first a consultative meeting with the local government and local authority. We call the community leaders, the youth leaders. So we put them the way we did before and say, look, be on their watch, be on the standby. When somebody entering your community and this person has sickness, can you hear the contact number? And thankfully for us, during the corona, we were able to create a center, a calling center at the Monrovia City Government. So where young people are there, they receive call from the Liberia community. So we're just going to reinforce that modality.
In another development, Freetown City Mayor Yvonne Akisoyo says plans are underway to recycle 40% of waste in Freetown.
Waste is one of the most expensive services to deliver, and your city needs you to pay for that service, so that there are other things. I don't know what the role of the city is in health and in education, but for me, I would be really keen to ensure that I can build more tables and chairs and more classrooms for the children, instead of having to collect people's waste for free. We all have a responsibility to pay for our waste. So we removed the skips. We removed the skips, and we brought in the tricycles because it's sustainable. And we said, what we need to do is to make sure we've got enough tricycles to service, and we're still there. We're still getting more to service all the households. But people need to pay at the point of collection. If you put it in just the skips, I'm going to be killed by the Monrovians who love their skips, I'm sure. This is just my humble opinion. Of course, Monrovia will make its own decisions. Right. But just from our experience, we found that the skip sort of model, it's very, very difficult to manage. The fact that you're not getting specific payments towards it means that you're struggling with fuel. You told me you have 14 trucks. 14 trucks for 1.5 million people. You know, we should all think about it, you know? It's not a lot. And it's a challenge. And how wonderful would it be if people within your community were themselves now the ones collecting the waste? So, you know, just a thought, Monrovians, just a thought.
Ghanaian Ambassador to Liberia Ernest Asidu has rallied Liberians and individuals of goodwill to support the Louis Arthur Graham's School of Law at the University of Liberia. Ambassador Asidu said professors at the school are making sacrifices and must be supported to enhance their research capacity. The Ghanaian ambassador was speaking recently at a cultural renaissance organized by the Monrovia City Corporation. We cannot get hold of that clip. Let's go over to this one here. Let's take a recap of our top stories. Government of Liberia refused claims that constructing the Invincible Park opposite the fish market in Sinka will cause the women prayer group in the area to vacate. Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala describes community engagement as the best tool to combat disease outbreaks. President George Weah urges Ivorian refugees to live in accordance with the laws of Liberia. And elsewhere in Africa, United Nations mission in South Sudan condemns armed attack on polio workers in that country. We'll take a short break to be right back. Welcome back to Lntv News Live. We continue with the program. The group Men Engage has formally been launched in Monrovia. Speaking during the launch of the program, USAID official Dieudonné Pasca Yaka stressed the need to collaborate in ensuring human rights are protected.
I should also point out that this is not the first time that UNAIDS has collaborated with Men Engage. We have lots of partnerships of Men Engage in many different countries. As has been said, Men Engage works in many different countries. I'm just new in Liberia, a couple of months. I'm coming from Lesotho. I've worked in Swaziland, Eswatini. We have Men Engage platforms already. and we're working with them as well on the issues of HIV. So I'm happy to be part of this alliance in terms of collaboration. I would like to end my remarks by informing you, esteemed guests, of the new UNAIDS global strategy, the new global AIDS strategy, which is going to be officially available end of March. And its backdrop is to achieve 0 new HIV infections, AIDS-related discrimination, and 0 deaths. But we recognize that in this strategy, even more strongly, we cannot advance these targets without also advancing human rights, gender, and all other inequalities, and also transforming harmful social, cultural, religious practices and the patriarchal masculinities, but also engaging men.
Serving as keynote speaker during the launch of the program, Reverend Johnson Sirleaf called for enhanced efforts to educate girls and break away from the old ways.
It is a great time to be alive. Today, my father did not have the opportunity to learn how valuable the opposite sex was. Unfortunately, his generation knew that women were good only for certain things. For his generation, women were not aware to be respected, but they had their place. My mother did not know that she had the same rights as her husband. She accepted as gospel what society ascribed to her. For them, educating a girl was a waste of time. It is a great time to be alive. We have an opportunity today to be a part of change, an earth-shaking change. We live in a time when it is becoming more and more evident to us that what we considered norms were harmful to our society. We realize today that when we restrict half of our population, we are already setting our target below the starting point. When we restrict half of our population, we restrict ourselves. It is a great time to be alive.
Several schools in Montserrat, Margibi, Grand Bassa, and Bomi counties have begun benefiting from the distribution of agro-tools and seeds to enhance their agricultural productivity. One Planet Education Network is providing the items. The distribution began Wednesday at the Bethesda Christian Mission School in Margibi County.
They are not many, but they are substantial. We are giving them to you on a loan basis. That means that at the end of the semester, we expect them to be returned and reported. And if you take good care of them, we can add them up and make them more useful for you. There's a usage policy that we're going to email to you that we expect you to sign and send back to us so that agreement will bind us together with these tools. And we thank you for your partnership. We also brought some seeds. These are all local seeds. You have corn, you have cucumber, you have peanuts, watermelon. And the sweet potatoes will come later on when you have made a bed for the sweet potatoes. But on behalf of our founder and CEO, Mr. George Newman, I'd like to present to you these seeds and these tools, and may they be used for the intended purpose. So you have shovels, you have watering cans, you have hoes, You have a spraying can that you will use jointly with John P. Michel.
Okay.
John P. Michel is a school at Boys Town. So you will use this jointly with them when they need it. They'll call you and then you can send it to them. And y'all can decide who's going to keep it. I don't know if you will keep it or John P. Michel will keep it or whatever the case might be, but both principals can work around it. So Reverend Jala, it's a pleasure again and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. On behalf of Bethesda Christian Mission School, we want to express our thanks and appreciation to Mr. Newman and his team for being supportive of us here, what we do, the program we run here at Bethesda. And we can assure you that these tools will be used for its intended purposes. And once we complete our planting and ready for our harvest, we'll definitely invite you to come and join us in harvesting the produce.
The National Rice Federation of Liberia President Mohamed Kamara said this sector is prepared to ensuring food security in the country. Speaking at the just-ended National Agricultural Fair, Mr. Kamara said prioritizing rice will enable farmers achieved in supporting the PAPD agenda. Also at the gathering, Makona River Farm CEO Sar Bond urged farmers to migrate from subsistence to mechanized farming.
Rice, agriculture is a priority, specifically rice, and which of course, if you're doing agriculture without rice, you have not done anything for your country yet, which of course I believe that, because 90% of the population depends on rice. So I think that there should be a lot of emphasis and a lot of support given to the rice sector, which of course we have clear-minded with a lot of recommendations to the government and to we, the key players of the sector. And I think we are ready from our end. And we just need the kind of support needed, the kind of equipment needed to carry on our readiness. Because you can be ready, and if you do not have the requisite support to get the kind of mechanized equipment and to carry on the production that is needed to feed our country, and it will be difficult. And 8 partners that the federations and 8 members can produce the requisite and even reduce 50% of the imported rice in the country within the next 3 years. All right, so I think that we need vigorous support. You know, we'll soon be getting the dry season and the rainy season, so it's very important that whatsoever come from the president's statements should be realized, and we should be, in fact, the federation should be part of that entire the committee.
At the same time, the CEO of Makona River Rice Farm, Sar Bond, urged farmers to migrate from subsistence to mechanized farming.
It's a clear indication that we, the Liberians, with what I'm seeing here, we can produce our own local food. We can be self-sufficient if the government and other organizations put hands in it and help to support the farmers. Because from our own experience, subsistence farmers cannot do nothing. We have to migrate to mechanized farming. That will help us to alleviate hunger in Liberia. We are even asking the government where we have allocated, where we have showing, where we want to build a dam, several dams, and recondition those dams that Acromenco and LCADP had before, so that we can reconstruct them. There is an area where, if you say here, lofa bread basket, where the rice used to come from. It was around the Makona River belt. They used to take the Makona River to pump it offshore and produce all season. Now, before James C. Philip then, before they could leave, there was a railroads around the Makona River that they decided to build a dam to feed those areas that are upland to do both throughout the season, all year round. So these are the areas that we want to construct those dams so that at least we can help come back on the map I know from the fair here that you see here, Lofa County will come number 1. I know that. Just as we have bounced back in football, we're going to get back on our feet and promote agriculture in Liberia.
For her part, Sankofa Incorporated CEO Yamane Domba showcased varieties of rice products for a healthy diet in Liberia.
The great things about Sankofa is that we don't just want to be the usual. We want to do specialty things. We always believe that the Liberian market deserves quality. And you know, our slogan is African quality, African pride. We've always believed that this, for example, this is the black rice.
Black rice.
And it's reportedly the highest nutritious rice in the country, in the world rather. And this is, again,
I want you to just hold up black rice a little bit. Let me see it.
Yeah, you get to see
it. Yes, okay. Is that the natural color?
100% natural.
Wow.
100% natural. So all you see, these are all the vitamins and minerals that you're seeing in the color without any kind of stripping, without any kind of painting, without any kind of chemical. All this are bung red, but it's the variety that resembles most close to the brown rice.
Okay.
Very healthy, high fiber content, high vitamin content. And so people who not only have dietary needs, I always tell people, because even this one, when you find it in other countries, or I was in Ivory Coast and they listed as diabetic rice because of the high nutritional value of grain, but it's still very good for everybody to eat well.
Let's now bring you our foreign development. The United Nations mission in South Sudan has condemned the attack by armed men on polio workers in Lakes State in the central part of the country. The attack in the Malek area left 3 people dead, 4 others wounded and 1 missing. The motive behind the attack on the polio workers remains unclear. UN humanitarian coordinator in South Sudan, Ellen Johnson, has called for those responsible to be brought to justice. The nationwide polio vaccination campaign started on Tuesday. It is the second round of vaccination since an outbreak in September last year. It is targeting children under 5 years old in 10 regional states. With that from the international scene, let's now recap our top stories. Government refused claims that constructing the Invincible Park opposite the fish market in Sinka will cause the women prayer group in the area to vacate. Health Minister Dr. Willie Minojala describes community engagement as the best tool to combat disease outbreaks. President George Weah urges Ivorian refugees to live in accordance with the laws of Liberia. And as well in Africa, United Nations mission in South Sudan condemns armed attack on polio workers in that country. This is how we come to the end of the program Lntv News Live. Many thanks to you all for your viewing role. Many thanks to our entire television team for making this package a success. Lntv News Live comes to you every Monday to Friday with the early edition at 10 to 10:30 in the morning and the late edition at 8 to 8:30 in the evening. On behalf of the entire television staff, my name is Zokwe Beslo-Konin, bidding you a pleasant day from Pinsville. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.